Welcome back and welcome to the fourth and final installment in the series where I am going through my entire vintage Star Wars collection to see what needs to be upgraded in order to have the perfect display. Now this episode will be Power of the Force and beyond. So first up we have the R2-D2 with the pop-up lightsaber. This one is brand new, the reason being this is from Stan Solo Creations. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but the fact is I have the most perfect, brand spanking new R2-D2 pop-up lightsaber, and the fact that it's not a genuine Kenner doesn't mean a damn thing to me. This one is absolutely perfect and obviously does not need to be upgraded. Next up, we have the A-Wing Pilot, and this one also, believe it or not, is from Stan Solo Creations. Again, another costly figure if you were to go down the original Kenner route, and to get one in as good condition as this, you're looking at hundreds of dollars at this point. So why anyone would spend that much when you could have spent, I guess, circa 40 bucks to get an absolutely perfect brand new figure for your collection makes no sense to me, but I'm glad to have this one. So now we have something a bit more genuine. We have Han Solo with his carbonite block. Now this Han Solo is 100% genuine Kenner. The carbonite block is not. I actually got the figure separately. I was looking to get both together, but could not get as good a looking Han Solo as that with a block. So I thought, you know what, I'll buy the figure and try to source the block. Well, I couldn't get a block for a good price, and this one actually came from Australia, this block. Looks perfectly good to me, and it came with a little bonus stand, which I don't believe the original Kenner has. So for me, this was the perfect solution. So there we go, a perfectly brand new looking, genuine Kenner Han Solo with a reproduction carbonite block. More genuine Kenner, this is the Imperial Dignitary. This is one that I pulled off a mint on card. It was brand new, it was sealed, but the bubble was extremely yellow and the card back was really tatty. I thought, I don't care about this, I want a good looking figure, because bear in mind, this figure does suffer from nose rub. So for me, it made complete sense to take a brand new one, to add it to my loose collection, and whilst it's a very unpopular figure, the one I have here is as good looking as you will find. Now we have the Imperial Gunner, and this one again courtesy of Stan Solo Creations. Another figure that's rather pricey if you were to look for a genuine Kenner. You will not find one in as good condition as this, and for the price I paid, which I'm thinking back, this was a few years ago, we're talking I guess $40 or so, worth every penny to get as mint an example as this. And this one just looks absolutely fantastic. Again, keeping with the theme here, Stan Solo Creations has allowed me to get a minty fresh Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper disguise figure into my collection for a reasonable price. Now, bearing in mind that figures that are primarily white from the 80s tend to be pretty yellow these days, and I do not want to have a yellow figure in my collection. So for me to get the Stan Solo Creations brand new version made complete sense, and as you can see, this one is absolutely beaming white. So now we've got the big one, M.a.s.k. You're not going to be surprised when I say this. Yes, this also courtesy of Stan Solo Creations. I just don't see why people have such disdain for this practice of buying repro, given that to get a figure of a man-to-man complete that looks this good, again, hundreds of dollars. Well, I don't have hundreds of dollars to spend on action figures, so for me, makes complete sense to get something that looks amazing in the collection and doesn't break the bank. And I don't actually know if these are still available for sale on his website, but if you are looking to complete your collection, Stan Solo is a great resource, and this Amana Man looks absolutely perfect. Anakin Skywalker. You'll be pleased to hear this is genuine, Kenner, and this one in fact I took out of a sealed bag. I bought a lot at one time and it included a sealed baggie mail away Anakin, so this one was removed from that box and the bag, and I'm pleased to say it has that amazing Kenner smell about it. So it's not necessarily that great looking of a figure, but in terms of display purposes you will not get a better looking loose example than this. Barada. I have to confess, once again, this is a Stan Solo Creations, and this one looks absolutely fantastic. As you can see, absolutely mint, 100% complete, and I don't know how much the originals are going for these days, but hell of a lot more than the 40 bucks I paid. And as you can see, fantastic paint applications, looks great, absolutely perfect. EV99. The reason this one looks so good is, you've guessed it, Stan Solo Creations. This is a figure that 99% of the time when you see an original for sale, it's broken, it's missing an arm, it's missing a leg, and just not a good value for money figure, especially with the sort of last 17 prices that get asked for. This for me fits my bill perfectly. Brand new, looks great, it's not bent, it's not bowed, and it was very cheap, so very happy with this. Lando Calrissian, or General Lando Calrissian. This is genuine Kenner, and unfortunately I got this before Stan Solo started making these. If I'd waited, I could have paid a hell of a lot less, probably a quarter of what I paid for this. And I got this one, it was complete with the coin. I've since sold the coin, but the cape is slightly frayed, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. For the most part, the figure is pretty much perfect, and again, I just regret the fact that I paid big money for this, and the next figure you'll see, which are, you know, genuine Kenners, when in fact I could have saved quite a bit by going down the Stan Solo route. But that's Lando Calrissian with his general outfit, and this one, Luke Skywalker with the Endor battle poncho, 100% genuine Kenner. Again, this one came with a coin that I've since sold, but this one looks pretty good. The poncho is a little bit frayed. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Perhaps if there's a reproduction poncho available that's brand new looking, I may look to that, but for the most part, this one is pretty much perfect. So now, this was the last figure I needed to complete the original Kenner run. This is Romba, and this one, I forget how much I paid, but it wasn't cheap, and it was a bit of a anticlimax that this was the figure that I needed to complete my original run of figures. Again, I've said this before, I'm not a big fan of the Ewoks, but this one is in really good condition. It took me a while to find one looking this good, but now that I have it, it does round out the collection, so there you go. And next up, another Ewok, this time Warwick. Honestly, at this point in time, I've forgotten all about the prices I paid. I know it wasn't cheap, not quite as much as Romba was, but still it did annoy me that some of the most expensive figures in my collection are these Ewoks. Of course, with it being genuine Kenner, that's the price you have to pay, but this one does look pretty good. And finally, to complete the original Kenner line, we have Yak Face. And the reason this one's looking so good is, yep, it's Stan Solo Creations. This might have been one of the first that I bought, actually. Going back to when, 2019, that's a long time ago. But as you can see, absolutely perfect, brand new, really happy to have this. So now we can move on to the figures that go beyond the original Kenner line. So first up, we have, which is something Kenner should have given us, is Han Solo in his Stormtrooper disguise. Exactly the same as the Luke Skywalker figure. They've just used the Han Solo head. I really don't understand why Kenner didn't do this back in '85. It would have been such an easy figure to produce, but Stan Solo has, so I'm happy with this. Now we have a couple here, both the same figure but slightly different appearance. We have Boba Fett as he appeared in The Empire Strikes Back and in Return of the Jedi, again courtesy of Stan Solo Creations. These are fantastic and a real upgrade on the Boba Fett figure that Kenner gave us. So very, very happy to have these. Now we have Ula, again something Kenner never bothered doing. Not one of my favourite figures, but it is a nice looking, well done figure. In terms of major characters in the movie franchise, not that big of a deal, but if you have the Jabba the Hutt's playset, you absolutely will need to get this figure in your collection. And sticking with the ladies, we have Leia in her slave outfit, so it's a slave Princess Leia. And I have to emphasize that I really cringe when I see grown men call this figure the Hutt Slayer. No, it's a slave Leia, but it looks amazing. And again, this was Stan Solo giving us the figures that Kenner never did. And as I just mentioned, if you have a Jabba the Hutt's playset, you absolutely need to get this in your collection. So now we have one of the Empire's droids. I believe this is R2Q5, which is basically the pop-up R2D2, or the pop-up lightsaber R2D2, but done in black. Exactly the same, but this one does look pretty good. And he is actually in the Return of the Jedi movie, so this isn't just a made-up droid. He actually does appear on screen, albeit very briefly. So this one looks pretty good. So now we have a threesome. So we have our threesome of Force Ghosts done by Stan Solo Creations. So we have the Anakin that we already saw, but we now have the Ben Kenobi and the Force Ghost Yoda. Again, the Force Ghost Kenobi could have been done so easily by Kenner, but the fact is it's here now. And I really do like the look of these together. And I guess if you have the Ewok Village playset, these will look great on there. But as it is, I'm really happy to have these to add to my collection. And last of all, which is kind of more of the same, we have the same three figures, but this time done in glow-in-the-dark blue. And if you'd seen my review of these figures, you will see just how well these actually do glow in the dark. These are fantastic. So that completes my vintage Star Wars collection. So, from checking my notes, the really only things I need to upgrade will be the original R2D2 and possibly Death Squad Commander. But if I can get hold of the Retro Collection First 12 Part 2 box set, that will cover those. And aside from that, it's really only the Rebel Commander needs upgraded for sure, and possibly a Hoth Stormtrooper. I think overall, my collection is a lot better than I thought it was, and I'm really happy with what I have. I'm quite amazed at how well everything has come together. So, that is it. That is my entire vintage Star Wars figure collection. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think? What do you think of these additions from Stan Solo? And what do you think about the fact that Stan Solo has allowed people like me to complete their collection without breaking the bank? Please do let me know in the comments. But as always, I thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like. please share the video and make sure you're subscribed, and stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.